the most important race of the season. If you win here, you will have a different career. Hi and welcome to Spa. It's the world's biggest GT3 race. Let's see what we have in the garage and what we bring for the race.
What we got?
So here we start with a bollard outside where you can see some stats from the car. Yeah, so here you can see some of the stats of the car. It's a naturally aspirated V10, about 500 horsepower and 1250 kilos. So then we go into where we prep the tires, where we wash the rims after the stint, to where we have all the new tires we'll be using throughout the next hours, both slicks and rains. And then we come to the tire heater where we heat the tires for the next 4 hours. So in here we put the new set of tires. We have an electrode which is taking the temperature, measuring the temperature, so you can see it outside, and it automatically switches on and off, whether it's to keep the temperature we want. We don't want them too hot because then the rubber won't work properly. Here we have spare parts for the car, everything possible to have for the car, engines, gearboxes, all the body parts, everything. We have a spare off, so if something happens we can change it rather fast. And then into the pit box, we have fuel for the race. Then we have more spare parts, front and rear bumpers on top of the shelf, especially also all smaller parts for the car. as well as the doors, the radio systems, all the mechanics will use. So here all the mechanics and the drivers going out next will have one radio each to be able to listen to the driver and also the engineers to see if it's anything wrong, anything which is worth noting before you want to go out on the car. It's nice to have a idea of how the car feels and if there is something wrong. The beverage bar, where we have the drinks and some necessary, let's say dinner for the mechanics and everyone. We have all prepared brake discs, new and used. This is what we will be using throughout the next 48 hours of brakes. It's around, I don't know, 800 degrees or something. It's quite hot, the brakes. Here we have the most important part maybe, it's all the data. Here we go through data, we look at track limits, we look at where we are positioned. All the engineers have live telemetry from the car, so they can see exactly what's happening in the car, if you have any error codes, if there are any changes they want me to do. They can tell me over the radio, so we can change it and give feedback. And then into the heart of the 24 hours, the car.
Hop in the car, watch it go vroom. I told them all that I will soon. Boom. Oh, told them step back, I need my broom.
So here we have the GT3 Evo2 Lamborghini Huracan. It's the new car for this year, with a lot of changes in the aero direction, also on the steering wheel and the electrical components of the car. So this is the inside. Here we have the safety net, which needs to be on. So in the middle console we have the settings we don't use too much. We have high beam, which will be used in the night, rain lights, which I hope we don't need to use, reverse button to put the car into reverse, wiper speed, gearbox emergencies, fire extinguishers, throttle mappings, a lot of the controls we won't use like during driving too much. And with the steering wheel, I'll take it out and we can have a brief look at the steering wheel. So with the steering wheel, we have the paddle shifts up and down. We have the mix. This is what we can change a lot of settings during we're driving. We set it to 2, we know what 2 will be, and then we press up and down to adjust the value of the settings we want. We have traction control. We have 2 different kinds of traction control. We have lateral, sideways grip, and then we have front to rear grip. So if you're struggling with lateral support, we adjust the green one. If you struggle with getting traction straight, we adjust the orange one. We have the kill engine, drinking system, radio, and indicators. Start button to start the car, pit limiter, and flash. This is the button we use the most. Every time we're behind something, we're going absolutely crazy on this one. And we also, the clutches on the car is here. This is the clutches. We also have the tennis grip tape from a tennis racket. Due to the suede leather will become really slippery after time, so we use the tennis grips to have the maximum amount of grip. And like this, we're on. We have now put on new set of discs and pads, just been bedded in. For the 24 hours we have extra special headlights, the normal headlights and also the extra headlights to have more lights during the night, so we are able to see anything, because it will be completely dark and it will be nice to see where you are on track. Okay, now I just need to think what I will say. So this car is a naturally aspirated V10 with about 500 horsepower. It's taken down with the horsepower compared to the street car due to the regulations of the championship. But we have a lot more downforce with the rear wing. We have a full floor, carbon floor under, and also a big splitter, which will provide downforce in high-speed corners. So we have now a massive air scoop on top to get all the air into the engine, and also the fin to have the sideways movement of the air. So this is what's new with the car. It's bit of aero, bit of brakes. Yeah. So here also in the pit box we have the TV screens as well as the helmet rack. Here we have all the helmets for all the drivers, earplugs, balaclava, hands, everything, where we put after driving. On the helmet now for this race we also have the drinking tube, which will connect to the car together with the radio. So when we press the button in the car, automatic pump will serve us water whenever we need. This is what we'll be running for the next 48 hours. Tilbakemeldinger på kjøring eller gi oss. You're an idiot. And then we take the steering. I'm filming everything for the Norwegian Lamborghini dealer. And you are an idiot.
Tell us before then.
I have told everyone except you, huh?
You know, I'm the one to teach about it.
Yeah, because you are the biggest idiot.